We're in March. We made it through February. And we're well on our way to April, which is where all of the doors begin to open for us. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me today. I've been so looking forward to being with you all in this space and this energy. This is my favorite thing that I do every month, and I just love the energy and the resonance that we create together. So some interesting questions have been sent through for today's webinar, which I'm really excited to explore. Some things around money, Palladium, which was the new meditation that the masters have shared with you for this month, morphogenic field, and magnetic resonance. So some interesting topics we're going to explore today. And of course, the masters will be introducing what it is that they would like to introduce. And please remember that any questions or comments that you have today, please pop into the chat bar, not into the Q&A, because I can't manage too many things at once while I'm in channel. I do my best, but I'm not that good yet. Okay, so hopefully you can all see and hear me just fine. Can I have a little prompt in the chat bar that my sound is okay? And then we'll begin. Terrific. Thanks, Bridget. Hi, Maria. Hi, Linda. All right. So before we begin today, I just wanted to share a little bit about a project that I've been working on. I don't normally do this in these webinars, but I haven't been able to do an official launch because the restrictions keep changing here in WA and in Australia. I had planned to do my first event, live event in some time, to be able to share this with people, but I've had to cancel it again, third time. But just wanted to share, I don't know if you can see this. This is our new book that we have just completed, Fu, The Return of the Magnetic Human. It might be coming across back to front actually in this image, but you can find this on Amazon at the moment. And I'm really super excited about it. Look at this cover. Isn't this amazing? This is what the incredible Steve Creek has done in collaboration with Rob Helmer in the UK that's put it together. And I'm sure you're going to find it really, really interesting. There's a lot of content in here from the Fu series and the Natural Law series. And it's probably the longest it's taken me to do a book. And the reason is because the information in it was so vibrationally intense that just one of the chapters in there, chapter 5, which is about coding your reality, took me several months to even be able to vibrationally engage with, to be able to edit it. So I'm really pleased that it's done. I don't have the link up on my website yet. It's on my list of tasks to do this week, but you can find this on Amazon if you're interested. It's also going to be available as an ebook soon. So I don't normally do any promotion during these things, but I just wanted to share that with you because it's there and it's ready to engage with if that is of interest to you. Okay, so exciting times, a lot going on in the world in the last couple of weeks. Nothing too outside of, I feel, what we were expecting, because we knew that there was going to be shock coming this year and that there was going to be some interesting escalation of events, but good to bear in mind that ultimately it's going to be leading to system change. And system change really is the point at which we realize that things are moving into resonance with where we are vibrationally. So we find ourselves in this time now where vibrationally, we're really sitting well ahead or well beyond where the current systems and structures still are. So it's really that kind of disruption, shattering time that we're seeing right now. So although there's a lot of fear around what's happening, particularly in Europe at this time, and perhaps the masters will elaborate on that a little bit more, but from everything that I've been hearing, it's really it's easy to look at it as in what's being destroyed. It's also wonderful to look at it in terms of what's being transformed, because transformation can be messy, as we know. So I would just encourage everybody who's witnessing what's happening at this time on the planet in terms of geopolitics, in terms of transformative. Challenging, I know, especially in the light of war, but I feel that war in and of itself is changing its framework of reference as we move forward. It's always important to look at what's going on with conflict in the world and bring it back to the 0 point field within ourselves. The closer we bring the concepts of conflict back to our own form and our own state of consciousness, the more we begin to realize that the conflict is actually within ourselves about what is happening. And that's something that can be challenging to look at, but is really important at this time, because if you're feeling angst and irritation and fear and anxiety about what's happening in the world, understand that that conflict is something that you are experiencing within yourself. It's where you feel your feelings. It's where you feel the disruption is in yourself. So any tension you're feeling within yourself at this time, it's wise to be asking yourself the question, is there a war going on inside me? Is there conflict going on in here? What are these two ideas? What are these two things that are themes? These two positions that are fighting against each other within myself? And this is so important, because even for myself personally this week, I've been challenged with, how do I sit with the juxtaposition, the paradox of two different energies, two different approaches to life, two different sets of feelings, two different ways of being, two different desires, and so on, in the same space, without them going to war with each other? Because what the mind does is it says you must choose. You must choose one over the other, this way or this way. This is the right way, this is the wrong way. It's going to be A or B. And of course, when we're choosing that way, we're choosing in sacrifice, which is incredibly dualistic, and we're being invited to step beyond that. So my challenge this week personally, as I'm sure it is a challenge for all of you as well, is to sit in this state where there are two opposing sets of values, two opposing views, two opposing experiences, and actually just be able to sit with them both inside yourself without them going to war. Now, for those of you who joined us for the Interstellum series last year, we were talking a lot about fusion energy and how you have two particles that can come so close to each other, but not actually merge. And that's what creates the new field of creation and possibility. But when two different oppositions or two different concepts or two different directions are coming close to each other, and the temptation and the desire is to choose one over another, that's when the conflict and the war begins. So we have an incredible opportunity right now as new humans, as modern mystics, to actually have the capacity and consciousness to sit with both of those in our state. And sometimes it can feel like you're going to explode and you just want it to go away, or you just want to make a choice and be done with it. This indecision and this state of, it's not neutrality, is it? Because this is important. It's not neutrality. It's a state of tension that we can be willing to sit with for long enough, because that tension is what creates something new, that tension point. Can we embody it? Can we actually be strong enough in our consciousness and present enough to actually embody it? And as Ellen is saying, transcend it. Well, I think our point of view can look down on it and see them both sitting there without needing to choose a side. The challenge is actually being able to embody that. And I do feel that all of us are going through this at this time, and we're being presented with externalized references of duality and war. Pick a side, pick a point of view, pro or against. But our opportunity as modern mystics is to actually embody both. Because if we're embodying both, we're actually being the point of unified field that this reality is really requiring right now. So you could say, well, I'm neutral, I'm not choosing either side, but let's go one more than that. Let's go, well, actually, I'm embodying both. I'm the unifying force. Because neutrality sometimes it's important, but neutrality sometimes gives ourselves permission to just focus on something else, which can be helpful, but it's even more empowering to actually focus on both and hold them there together. So I just wanted to begin with that today, because it's a big theme right now. So if you're feeling that tension and you're feeling that conflict, good for you. keep them both there. How much can you become like the sun, the star core energy, and have those two particles sitting there? You're feeling all of that charge and all of that angst, and sometimes it feels like anxiety, but wow, is it powerful? And in essence, it's enabling you and your physicality now to become spaces, to become vessels, to become crucibles for new creation and new life. And that's exactly where we are right now. So it's incredibly challenging. And the swinging wildly between feeling completely peaceful and feeling completely agitated is something that's really occurring almost every 15 minutes for me personally. So I can imagine that it's happening for a lot of you as well. So hopefully that can assist you in understanding these energies at this time, because they are pretty intense. But where there is intensity, there is creation. So let that be a comfort to you. There's a real recognition of self in that, in my experience. Yes. So it's becoming very personal. What we're experiencing, what we're seeing in the world is being felt internally. You can't really separate out your own personal experience from global events right now. Okay, so let's dive in. Yes, so thank you, Bridget. Me too. Expanding as you hold more of the opposition. Yes, yes, it's a tough gig, but that's what we're here for at this time. And if you're joining us for the biological time series, we're learning about how there's a unification of timelines right now. So of course, we're embodying more and more and more within the space of our own bodies. So go easy on yourselves. Be gentle, because all of the intensity you're feeling means that you don't really need to be directing this energy away from yourself at this time. You don't really need to be directing it into a project or into this, because that's usually what we want to do. Because remember, from the electrical system, we build up charge, we build up energy, and now we have these oppositions within ourselves and we want to do something with it. I mean, for me personally, our borders just opened today after 2 years. And I'm thinking, I got to do something with this energy. I got to go somewhere, do something, but there's no real sense of direction. And of course, that's me habitually and my mind wanting to relieve myself of this tension and relieve myself of this energy by directing it into something to look forward to, or a particular new project or point of interest, rather than giving myself permission to actually just see how long I can sit in this point of tension. So that's where we are. If you're feeling frustrated because you're not making any choices about directing that energy into something, just use it as a discipline, a self-discipline, to bring it back to holding those 2 points of tension within yourself. Okay, I've spoken enough about that now. I'm going to dive in with the masters. And once again, thank you all so much for joining us for this.